Hello everyone, this is Jim Krasinski with your weekly lecture video. So I'm going to try to keep this one short. I know everybody is working diligently on their annotateds, but we are starting a new unit, and this is chapter 3, one of my favorite chapters in the Curious Researcher. It's all about writing in the middle, and I think it's an important process in the developing of a research paper and in the overall research and writing process. So the specific assessment for chapter 3 is the double entry journal, and I will come back to that after I finish talking a little bit about chapter 3. The power here of writing in the middle takes place in the middle of the research process, and that's about where everybody is right now. We talk about academic writing as a conversation, either entering or adding to it. Then we need to acknowledge the conversation with the source, which is really a conversation with ourselves. And we research sources, we look for information, we need to read the information and think about it and how it fits our topic. And, most students really don't think about that inner dialectic that we have in our minds as an important contribution to the process. This is just not busy work, but a knowledge generating activity is really, we don't assign these annotates because we want to just keep you busy. I mean, there is a purpose behind this activity. So you really look at your sources. So don't write to record things, write to make meaning and to follow our own words about a subject to see what you have to say about it. So the idea here is as you read, write. If you can and you have paper, write in the margins, highlight, scribble on your hard copy if you work with a hard copy. If you're working with an electronic copy, you can highlight, you can open up a GDoc and type some notes in there. This is really where the conversation starts with source material. This is really where you learn more information about your research topic, right? Because that's exactly what it is that we're trying to do. Have a conversation, add to it. You have to write a summary of the main argument of each of your source, so you have to extract that information, set aside some quotes, set aside some passages in your readings, and you can come back to those and use those later on for that double entry journal. Now, it's important, and we're going to start a conversation beginning in chapter 3, and we're going to take it through to chapter 4 about how to use source material, right? Using sources responsibly by what we call attribution, which is attribution is naming the speaker whose words are you using, right? And it's kind of important to give credit to people for what they wrote and their thinking. It's just like intellectual property. You must give them credit. Using quotation marks for quoted materials and quotes from your sources, it's important. Citation is really important here. We have to cite in text. That's partly what attribution does, and also we have parentheticals at the end of some of the sentences. If you're paraphrasing, you always have to use some sort of a parenthetical, let us know who the author or the article is, right? And you have to have a works cited page, and there must be a one-to-one correlation, right, between an in-text citation and a citation in a works cited page, right? It's what we call the cross-reference. I have a section here in one of our course units, in between chapters 2 and 3, using and citing sources. I have a lot of really important resources and videos about using and citing sources here. First three principles and the fourth principle of citation. Always important resource here for you to use in working with citing sources. It's important. All right, we don't want to, well, I'll talk about the P word in next week's lecture video. Right. So like I said, the target assessment for chapter 3 will be the double entry journal. So you want to make sure you read about it in the Curious Researcher from pages 97 to 103. Okay, the idea here is to create your double entry journal using the table feature in a Google Doc. You're going to use 5 sources and you need a minimum of 3 excerpts, a quote, a paraphrase, or a summary from each source. So that's 15 entries total, right? You can use a the left column is for your quote, paraphrase, or summary, and then commentary on the right. You can use the table feature for this particular activity in a Google Doc. Sorry, let me get to this. Picture's worth 1,000 of my bumbling words here, all right? So this is a double entry journal example. What you have here is the citation, naming the source. You just copy and paste the citation from your annotated bibliography. Here's a quote, and I believe since there's no quotation marks, this is a paraphrase. And then you have the corresponding commentary here on the right-hand side. So left side, quote, paraphrase, or summary, right side, commentary. Then we move on to the next source. Once again, your citation taken from your annotated, 3 more entries and corresponding commentary. All right, so that's just straightforward, goes on and on for the 5 sources. So this particular example is a good one. Take a look at that. It'll help you complete the double entry journal. All right, so I've already created here a folder, and I even give you a template to work on, or work in. So here you go. You just have to make a copy. Come over here, make a copy, okay, rename it after you make a copy, and then you can start working on it. That way it saves the template for everyone in the class. So it's really not that hard to build a little template of a table here using, Google Docs. You do it in Word also. All right, okay, I think that's about it for this week's lecture video. If you have any questions or issues about the annotated, just send me an email. Good luck.